Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay, okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sound okay?
Yep.
Good.
Sounds good.
Got my Wi-Fi off. Everything's good.
For some reason, my Wi-Fi is off too, but it's giving me a signal.
I was saying that your signal is weak.
Yeah, but I'm not even hooked up to Wi-Fi. I'm hardlined in.
Interesting. All
It's
right.
weird. Does that every now and then.
No tech issues to start. Knock on wood. And we don't have any guests today. I feel I kind of dropped the ball. I had a lot going on this last week and
Preparation for all the holiday parties.
preparation for the 2 holiday parties, mostly just gym stuff. And then as a result, that I want to make sure if we invite someone, I will give them a little bit of advance notice, and it's something interesting that I want to talk about. I don't want to do this if I don't want to talk to somebody.
You want to talk to me?
Well, and I even consider, because we really didn't have a lot. I didn't have anything like top of mind that was hot. I did. There was. Well, I'll get into that in a second, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to start. I didn't want. I like to have stuff to talk about that's kind of relevant. That's hot right now. And our holiday parties are. Diablo's doing. We do 2 holiday parties. We do one for our team. I don't even know how many years ago we started that. What we found was we used to combine them. So in other words, we invite our staff to the big holiday party, but then we found that our staff couldn't always make that. So then I put together a separate one, which gave us the opportunity to, Yvonne and I to kind of focus on our team and thank them for what they've done for us for the year. And so that worked out better, but I don't know. It's like, I feel
like you started that in Alamo.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too. There was an Alamo, so that's back almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's that long.
Yeah.
Really.
It's crazy. 2014, I think, is when we opened. Yeah. And so right at the beginning, like right at the end of 2013. Anyway, so yes, we did that on Sunday night, and that was really cool.
That was a good time.
If you're
dinner.
If you're an owner and you're listening, I go to a breakfast place every Sunday-ish with my wife, and we get some people from Diablo sometimes go with us. And we were talking to them about, they were asking us about holiday party, or they were telling us that they have their holiday parties and their kind of stuff, the owners of the restaurant. And then they said, hey, we close our restaurant for you for businesses if you want to have it here. And I don't know, the whole place probably seats maybe 70.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a small
kind of
cafe.
It's not super huge.
And their head chef is also a caterer. He has a catering business.
Outside of
the restaurant.
Yeah.
But what the restaurant owner does is the owner of the restaurant lets them use their restaurant.
That's awesome.
She doesn't charge them anything.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's a good way to keep them there with them.
All it is a catered event at that restaurant. With that restaurant being the location, and the one of their waitresses that works there on Sunday is the one who kind of organizes it all and does it all. And she goes, we do nice table settings. And I was kind of skeptical because like, okay,
so it was a really nice setup.
This is a breakfast place. Like, it's not.
It's a breakfast spot, but they've got a pretty solid bar for a breakfast spot.
Well, right. She bought another restaurant recently, about 2 months ago. Giant Chef in Pleasant Hill, which the Giant Chef in Pleasant Hill is a breakfast place. And, everybody knows Giant Chef.
I've been eating there for like my entire life.
And Giant Chef, there's 2 things about it that were probably, kind of frustrating. One, it's cash only. You remember?
Yep.
Giant Chef. I remember going in there going, oh crap. And I'd ask them, hey, you guys mind if I run to the ATM? They have an ATM in there, but the fees on it are ridiculous. I go, and they go, yeah, just go. Everybody does it. They go to Wells Fargo and they come back.
Run across the street.
Yeah, it was across the street. So it was cash only. And then the other thing is it no alcohol.
Yeah.
And so Tammy, the owner of the place where we held our holiday party, she and her husband purchased Giant Chef, the building too, the property, which is really cool. And she said the first thing she did is got an alcohol license.
Yeah. Well, actually, the first thing she did was clean the place.
Well, yeah, she cleaned the place.
I mean,
yeah, it's nicer.
Growing up, my parents used to call the place the Pit.
I'm
The
listening.
grease pit.
I'm listening. I'm just going to grab a tissue.
Yeah. They used to call it the grease pit because you can tell that their cleaning was not on par. But it's been around for 60 plus years by the same owners.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it on the floors when you come in the restaurant.
Christy and I went. It was like right after they purchased it. We went in. It was like, oh wow, they put in new floors and they painted. And I asked Tammy that the other night. I was like, you guys painted? She's like, no, we didn't do anything. I was like, oh, so you cleaned? She's like, yeah. Tammy's
amazing. She is a hard.
I thought it was really cool that we had it there too, because knowing you guys had history, especially going through the pandemic.
Well, that's right, because they had some of the same issues that we had. We had threats of being shut down. They got fined a couple times during the pandemic.
Let you just come in and eat at the bar instead of eat outside.
Yeah, that's right. So it was really nice to do it there. So that, and you know what, for affiliate owners that may be listening, it was really a really cost-effective way to have a special event, because I'm not blocking off a room at a restaurant where you're going in and everybody's looking at you. We literally had the whole place to ourselves, and that makes an impression upon the people who are attending. And it in terms of cost, it wasn't any more than running it at a like a
Brazilian steakhouse
like we've done in the past, which that actually was. Those are pretty expensive.
God.
And man, but you know what though?
Delicious, but
no, let me
pay for it.
Let me tell you right now. If you're gonna have CrossFitters to a restaurant and you want to feel like you get your money's worth, take them to a Brazilian steakhouse, because you'll get your money's worth. We ate so much steak.
Yep. Meat sweats.
Oh yeah, meat. We put that restaurant had to be going, man, we're losing money on these guys, because they kept coming and coming and coming. So, but those, it was more expensive to go to the Brazilian steakhouse than it was for this event.
I can definitely imagine.
Let me see if I can share. I think I can share the picture. Let me see, video file, share screen. So
you want me to pull it up on Instagram?
Well, yeah, see if you can get it on Instagram before I get it on. Oh no, there it is. I got it. Sure.
You beat me.
Yeah. So that was a restaurant. So that's normally a breakfast restaurant. So they put out all these tables, and over here on this side was where they had the food. So if you're looking at the pictures, to the left they had the food, and then we all sat down the middle, and then I put up a big Diablo backdrop in the very back of it. And it was just, and they did the balloons, the table settings, and then we pre-ordered the food. They said, what do you guys want? Do you want steak and salmon? Do you want chicken? What do you want? I said, can you do Mexican food?
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, we can kill that.
Carnitas was on point.
Right? It was so good. So we did that, and then they did not hire a bartender. They said no, they didn't want to do a whole bartender. There were some issues.
I mean, they were walking around like, hey, if you want anything from the bar, let us know. We got.
Yeah, that's Tammy. She gave us free drinks there as well.
Yeah.
She, like, the beer and the wine, she provided it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But also, again, if you're doing something like this, CrossFitters don't drink very much. I mean, our crew just didn't, like, we opened maybe 2 bottles of wine with 30 people there, and I made the margaritas ahead of time, and I brought them in.
She added to it.
Oh my god, shit! Those were deadly. So it was a lot of fun. But anyway, I was gonna just my point being, if you're an affiliate owner, you have a holiday party. We do a member holiday party, and it's everybody's invited, and we'll have probably 150 people this year at our holiday party. It's harder to really kind of show appreciation for your staff, and you can have them stand up and introduce your coaches, but it's nice to be able to have them separate and get to know their spouses.
Yeah. It's more intimate that way.
It's more intimate, and then you can share stories, and then everybody's just laughing about their own personal stories.
Well, like your card, what you're proud of and what you're known for. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of saved you having to talk a lot.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk a lot. And normally I'll go through and I'll talk. And you know what's funny about that is it's really easy to come up with stuff to say about every person.
Yeah.
Like literally, and if you are an owner that's in the gym, a lot, it's
actively participates.
It's really easy to talk about your people.
Yeah,
you have so many stories, but instead, what I had them do is write something about themselves, one thing that they're most proud of at Diablo, and those were some really cool stories. Yeah. And then the other thing was, what do you think you're known for at Diablo? Because I wanted to see.
You think you're known for?
Because I have in my head what they're known for.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny.
How often? How consistent was that?
There were only a few overlaps. I wanted to throw mine in, but some of them are mean. So that was fun. But anyway, so we do that party, and then we do a big holiday party for our staff. And we've done those in the gym in the past, and we may still do them in the gym in the future.
Yeah.
The only thing Yvonne and I don't like about doing it in the gym is that we're clean freaks.
Yeah.
And so you do it in the gym. One year we did it, and we had we had games in one room, you know. Yeah. And then
that was in Alamo, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did that in Alamo. We did that here too, I think, one year.
I remember Alamo. It was everybody, right?
Yeah,
that was a good party. Cornhole. It was a good party, but Alamo is also a tight space.
Yeah, it was packed.
Yeah, it was a lot different than it was when we did the full one here.
And so when we get done, when we do it at our place and we hang out, our holiday party, when we do it in our gym, we have to hang out afterwards and clean and get it ready for class the next day. And it's just, and my wife's very particular about it. Like, so she wants everything clean. Like, she'll break out the vacuum cleaner and the gloves and the Windex, and she'll do the whole thing.
It's kind of nice being in a restaurant where
you just get your shit and go.
You're done. Yeah.
We went to
change the scenery.
Not only when we got done, we were leaving, and the owner of the restaurant, Tammy, and her husband said, "Hey, you guys stay, have a drink." Ewan and I were like, "Oh man, we're tired." We wanted to go, but I stayed and sat and had a drink with them, and I'm really glad I did because it gave me some amazing perspective on being a business owner and how hard it is to be a small business owner. And this is a good transition actually, because we can transition into the next subject, which is I wanted to talk about like what everybody's talking about these days, CrossFit and CrossFit gyms that are closing, and we were flat in the U.S. in terms of growth of affiliates, but exploding in Europe. It's growing very fast in Europe. But we've reached a maturity level in the United States. CrossFit's been around since 2000. Well, we started opening affiliates, I think, in 2003. Was
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, it was when the first one opened. We opened in 2005. A lot of these affiliates are 10, 15 years. I was trying to think about it this morning. Of the U.S. affiliates, what the average age is of an affiliate in the U.S., and it's probably somewhere around
7, 8.
Yeah, maybe close to 10 years now for the average affiliate. Although the bulk of affiliates opened up from, I think, 2011, I think, to 2017. Like that's when the big years were.
I feel like it really took off through 13 and 14.
13, 14. It was just
So I guess if you remember think about it that way,
right? How many opened up around here?
Yeah.
There were a bunch that opened up around here. And by the way, the other day I did the math for somebody. I was just thinking about it. We have 6 affiliates that are 10 years old or near us within 10 miles.
That's so cool.
Sweatshop.
That's awesome.
Sweatshop's open almost as long as we are. They're an amazing gym.
Yeah. Sweatshop opened up like a year or two before I opened mine.
Then there's CrossFit Danville. CrossFit San Ramon first.
San Ramon. Yeah. San Ramon's been around a while too.
A long time too. And then CrossFit Danville.
Yep. Livermore just had their 10-year.
Yeah, well, Livermore, that's further.
They're a little bit further.
A little further.
I still consider them kind of East Bay area.
Yeah, that's because it's Susan. He's our friend, and we'll throw him in.
Yeah,
he's 10 years. But then the CrossFit ATI in Danville, they're also 10 years.
Concord CrossFit.
Concord CrossFit's 10 years plus. And then End Zone is I think they're a 10-year affiliate as well.
How old is Pleasant Hill? Pleasant Hill's like what, 5 or 6?
5 or 6 years. Mike might jump in here in a little while.
Yeah.
But it is so my point being that everyone's talking about, is CrossFit over, is CrossFit done, and I argue very, very strongly against this. I think what CrossFit itself, the methodology is in its life cycle is certainly past the the early adopters and what they call the early majority. And we're now in the late majority. We're on the other side of the curve. I think we're deep into late majority, and then there's the laggards, the people that come on board last. The beauty of where we are as a company and as a business and as for businesses is that all of the new ones that are growing in Europe and in Asia and Latin America, the fact that those are coming on board so late, primarily because CrossFit just didn't have the infrastructure to support those types of
international
stuff, because everything's right. Yeah, all the languages, all the certifications. You have to be able to do certifications in countries. Like, just starting a CrossFit affiliate is more than just opening up and starting a CrossFit affiliate. And that's why there's a lot of copycats, because these people that open up and they don't get the certification, they just get good at CrossFit.
Which is, I would imagine, or we know, is happening a lot elsewhere, outside of the States.
Right. So to get a CrossFit affiliate, you have to have a level 1 certification. Well, that means CrossFit has to be doing CrossFit level 1 certifications somewhere.
Different languages.
Well, where do they do it?
Different materials.
You got to do it at a CrossFit affiliate. That's where they do those.
Not true. I did my level 1. Well, this was also 2009. I did my level 1 in Yosemite in the EMT station.
Oh, okay, good.
So, I mean, technically they can do it.
Well, no, that's in that they had
this is also 2009.
But my point is, like, you don't have a lot of affiliates do that, so you got to find places, and of course they did, because that's how otherwise I couldn't have started in any of these countries. But the growth for international is slower. Because you have to do the different languages. You got to get people that can teach it in those languages. Those instructors have to be level 3 coaches to be able to coach and teach those things.
And then even filling up those seminars.
Oh man, then filling them up.
How would you market that in another country where, maybe like we don't have the language in our L1 material?
People that are wondering how CrossFit spends the money that they make, this is one way. The infrastructure to support the growth internationally is expensive, at least initially, until you get the foundational stuff in place. You're paying. I know what they did. Like, I remember Margot Alvarez talking about having to fly to Brazil to do an L1, and they were doing them originally in English in a lot of these countries, and she was going for a weekend. Can you imagine how much that shit costs?
You have to send off like 4,
but you want
5
but you want to do it as a company, right? You got to sit 3-4 red shirts at least. And so I think a lot of money was spent in expanding internationally, and that is still in its infancy. They're in early adopter stage, which is cool. My point being, because it took so long, that's a benefit for us long term across the United States. Because as this starts to explode internationally, which it is, it's just getting started there. It represents, I think, massive opportunity for the sport of CrossFit, and we've seen that in some of the competitions. You see the audience sizes and just everything that's going on there. Hiller will have tons of content for years to come, especially internationally.
You're busy.
You think movement's bad here? He wasn't around in 2007, 8, 9, 10. He would have. There was a lot of videos that would have been made that he didn't make back in the day.
I mean, just think of like all the videos that you saw in the open from like people submitting their videos.
Oh my God.
Even the funny ones.
Oh yeah.
Those are good.
All right. So the question is, like, could the Diablo teams of like 09, 10, 11, could we have survived the movement standards of today and the scrutiny of today?
Some. 2011, yeah. 10, 9, yeah.
Right. So there is, I think, we talk about CrossFit and where it is in its stage of life, and we look around the United States, we're like, okay, there's gyms closing. Back to my point being, sitting at the restaurant talking with Tammy and her husband about their restaurant, their small business, their cafe, and especially during the pandemic, or when they opened, the health inspector came in, because they have multiple levels of inspection. They have the normal business inspectors that come in from the city and the county, but then they also have the health inspectors that can shut them down on a moment's notice. And they literally have that person, you know, the one that they've been dealing with for like, sounds like 6-7 years.
Seriously,
the same person. Because those are county jobs, and people don't want to give it up, and
they don't. It's just retention. Right?
So you have to have a decent relationship with them. And it was so funny listening to her husband. It was just like he just like, tell her to fuck off. And Tammy's like, no, let me take that call. I'll take that call. And she, you know, she would massage it, and they were shut down when they were just getting started. They had some sort of, I forget what it was. It was like it was a plumbing issue.
Yes, I remember that
leak, and she said they're shut down for 2 months. 2 months.
I do remember that. I was a frequent person over there back in those days,
and it's crazy. Like 2 months, and she goes, "I'm trying to pay my employees. I can't." And you know, and a lot of businesses would just go, "I'm out."
Yeah. Well, she said she was on the verge of being done.
Yep.
And here they are acquiring other restaurants.
So just being, people think, well, it's CrossFit, you know, CrossFit's, you know, on the downside, and I'm going to show some charts here in a minute, because there's some analytics that were floating around. You know, Craig Ritchie pulled up a Google search thing on CrossFit and said that, you know, hey, look, CrossFit's dying, which is just like so absurd. And the research level was so surface level. It was, and everybody, like the comments and the people,
everybody's
sharing
calling him out.
Oh no, no one was calling him out. Everyone was going, yeah, you're right. CrossFit's dying.
Along with
yeah, hey, that's why it's, you know, CrossFit needs to, you know, do something rapidly, and everybody got all freaked out. Meanwhile, here at Diablo, we're having our best year ever. And then I talked to a number of other long-term affiliates that have been established. They're doing amazing. They're having amazing years right now because of rebound from the pandemic. But we've got our businesses dialed. We have a good referral basis. Like, all of the things are.
And I think too, like, I mean, how many people we've had come back to us? Like, maybe they left years ago and they're coming back. But that's also because they're maybe left to go do something else, and they recognized how efficient and how well this stuff works.
Not even that. They didn't leave to go do something else. They left because of life changes.
True.
Job changes, usually.
Kids, whatever.
Kids, married, moved out, took a different job.
That's a good point.
Or maybe, you know, occasionally we get people who just burned out on CrossFit. Yeah. And that's totally understandable. I got burned out on doing marathons. Thank God. And found CrossFit and been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
But CrossFit is one of those things. Like, I think you're right though, because you leave it, and then you look back and then you start to gain a little weight. You start to not feel as good. You start to feel not as strong. You're like, God,
this sucks.
Yeah, this what I'm doing now sucks, or not. Or, you know, if I'm not doing anything, I remember when I did CrossFit, how I felt and how I looked.
I remember when we've had a few people that, like, you know, took off and started doing Orange Theory, and they were like, you know, I'm not getting strong. Like, I don't feel there's certain stuff that we're just missing. The coaching's different. People appreciate what we do here in the affiliates.
I don't want to. That's such a great topic, and I'm going to transition a little bit into that one, because there was because the Orange Theory was based upon this theory of keeping your heart rate in the orange zone, which is zone 2 training. And this is why I am very bullish on CrossFit and where we're headed, and where the opportunity is for CrossFit affiliate owners. And if you're a CrossFit affiliate owner that's burned out, struggling, sell your CrossFit affiliate or start to revitalize it and get things cleaned up and get focused on it, because then I think the next 10 years are going to be freaking awesome, because there is a substantial amount of data and reports that are being published. And then all of the influencers, all of them, a lot of influencers are starting to talk about it now, of the value of strength training for longevity, for mental health, for emotional health, for all of those things, but especially for longevity, number of years you're living. Like, there's direct correlation between muscle mass and longevity. And then the next thing is, and I put this in my newsletter that I send out every week, Rhonda Patrick did a great podcast. Peter T has talked about it. Huberman's talked about it as well. These are my 3 favorites. They all know each other, by the way. What a surprise. But the value of intensity in improving VO2 max. And VO2 max is one of the largest indicators of longevity in humans. And so with the biggest impact on, and this is contrary to what most people think. Most people think zone 2 training, that steady cardio will improve your VO2 max. And what they found was in these studies that Rhonda Patrick talks about, and I can pull it up and you can listen to her talk if you want. But I just say go to Found My Fitness at Found My Fitness on Instagram and scroll back a couple posts. And then she's got a YouTube channel as well, Found My Fitness, and she does a whole podcast, hour and a half podcast on it. And it is fascinating as hell. And I just got to the part where she talks about intense exercise and its correlation and its impact on mental capacity. In other words, you're improving and you're warding off dementia through intent. It has the biggest impact is high intensity interval training, but she says very, very vigorous activity, not just running your heart rate up a little bit, but literally going to a place where you're uncomfortable. That has the biggest impact on VO2 max. You can literally, steady state exercise, you will reach a peak and you won't be able to improve VO2 max. And then, you can, and where they saw the biggest results were people that use bursts of high intensity exercise. She is literally describing CrossFit without saying CrossFit.
I mean, that's why Nicole Carroll refers to intensity being our North Star. Right. Like it's all relative to, you as an individual, but you still got to go to a somewhat of a dark place to get that certain level of adaptation.
Right.
And I think too, like, kind of going back to the point of like how strength training is becoming a lot more mainstream. I feel like in the last, 5 to 8 years, mainstream strength training has just become more true strength training, not bodybuilding. You think about like isolated movement patterns and quad extensions and hamstring curls versus learning how to squat. Like I don't hear the idea that squatting below parallel is dangerous anymore. Like that was a big thing that I feel like as a CrossFit coach teaching people to squat below parallel, it was always trying to explain why it's beneficial. And why it's actually beneficial and healthier for your knees to squat below parallel versus stopping at parallel. So I feel like there's been a shift because, the old method is just not working. People are getting hurt. And it's just, people are deteriorating.
It's not just increasing muscle mass. It is increasing strength, which will increase muscle mass, especially relative to other adipose tissue. Right. So and again, this is all of this serves to offset chronic disease, which keeps you off medications. And it's strength training with intense cardiovascular effort. It's freaking CrossFit.
That's CrossFit.
What's really cool, CrossFit's doing in a health conference in February down in Austin, Texas, the first part of February. And it's an organized event. There's a number of different speakers that are going to be there. Rhonda Patrick's one of the speakers that's going to be there. So that's super cool.
Is that the Revive?
No, that was earlier this year.
Okay.
And that was more of an online conference.
I wasn't sure if it was something similar.
No, it is similar. And it is Karen Thompson is helping organize this one. But it's down in Austin, Texas, and what's great is you can get CEUs for attending it. It's a Van Sant hotel. But it is, again, all the evidence is starting to come in. And this is real data. These are real reports. And these are, Rhonda Patrick's a PhD. Huberman's MD. Like these guys are talking about it. Peter Attia is including he's doing it. And, he's the only thing I love Peter Attia. MD, real smart guy, has become a health nut and nutrition nut and
biohacker.
A biohacker, right? And so his training, the guy is he's like an engineer and accountant. Like it's very detailed training, very specific exercises. I get the feeling from
Huberman has similar approach too. Doesn't
he does, but Peter Attia's is so specific, like his exercises, it's daunting to me. In other words, you look at it and go, well, I'm not going to be able to do. He literally talks about this one toe stretch he does with the band and the hip. You know,
okay, I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, dude, and I'm sure it's great.
There's a benefit to it.
There's benefit to it, right? But like when you make that stuff look that complex, people they look at it and they go, I'm not going to do that.
Well, especially for somebody who is maybe just starting out.
Well, right.
It's just it can be so overwhelming when you get so far into the weeds.
Yeah. So
doesn't mean it's not beneficial.
No, but he is a huge advocate of high intensity interval training, of strength training, balance training, like all of this stuff is CrossFit.
Yeah.
Pete Shaw up in Canada, who is becoming an affiliate owner. He's a red shirt up in Canada and former games athlete. He always messages me, hey, how do we get, he goes, Peter Attia, how do we get Peter Attia to do CrossFit? Like, how do we he goes, he sent him direct messages.
He's been on the CrossFit podcast.
Yeah, he has.
Back in the day, 2 or 3 times with Savan.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so anyone that thinks that CrossFit is dying, it's
clickbait. It's just clickbait.
It's clickbait, and we are on I think this huge precipice. Affiliates and demand for CrossFit is growing incredibly fast outside of the U.S. Right, to open new affiliates. The U.S. is a much more mature market, so the demand for affiliates is slowing, and it's. I think there's still a demand. They're still opening new affiliates in the United States. Problem is that we've had so many in the past that a lot of them are closing.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're closing is they would like to, those affiliate owners would say, well, CrossFit didn't, do enough advertising for me. Well, CrossFit didn't, here's what they didn't do. And that's, I understand those complaints. And when you're a business owner, it's frustrating. But they're small businesses. And what were the numbers that you pulled up on small businesses and this is really, the reason why I asked Jamie this question is because listening to Tammy talk about a restaurant, I'm like, how the hell did she even stay in business or want to even be open? And how hard it is to be a small business owner. Like and you literally have to keep the foot on the gas all the time. I say this all the time. You can't let your foot off the gas.
So basically it was 2/3 of the small businesses will last over 2 years. And then
so 30% of small businesses, 3 out of 10 small businesses won't make it past the first 2 years.
And then after 5 years, you have like 1/3, or after 10 years, you have 1/3.
Right. 1/3 open.
1/3 are still running.
Right. So in 10 years, 70% of small businesses will close.
Drop off. Yeah.
And not drop off, they'll close. They're done. And I think that's not any different than CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like I think the numbers are probably very very similar.
I mean, you think about how many people start it as a passion project and then realize how much is actually involved to keep the doors open and
that's right,
keep members happy and keep coaches and
then you look and I wanted to talk about that a little bit, is why Diablo started. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's bring me back, and I'm going to talk to you about I want to give people a list, because I made a list. I was thinking about this the other day.
Okay.
What is it what are the things that we've done, or why has Diablo survived 15 years and continues to thrive, have our best year ever? And I'll put some things in there that I think contribute to that. You have to keep your foot on the gas. You've got to keep things fresh. You've got to, you got to invest in new equipment. You have to invest in marketing. You have to stay in touch with your customers. There's a number of things, and all that shit is tiring. It is like, it's not a job where you can go work 5 days a week and then screw off on the weekends and forget about your job and then show up your job on Monday. You can't, you're
thinking about it at night when you're going to bed on the weekends.
I'm still getting and sending text messages on the weekends. I try to tell myself, don't send your employees text messages on Sundays, and I do it anyway. Because you want to make sure the gym gets open right and the right things get done on Sunday. But anyway, so this is the one that Craig Ritchie showed, and then Hiller showed. And this is the problem is it's kind of a misnomer at CrossFit. And this is a Google statistic. And the other thing is they're not actually giving you the number of searches that are being done. It's this is a 0 to 100 scale, so it's showing relativity to the previous year. and so it's a bit of a misnomer. So there actually could be more searches here, in the middle of this graph than than back over here, but it's lower because it's relative to the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're seeing here is a precipitous incline. 2013.
2013.
Right, really steep incline 2013. And then it starts to fall off.
Yeah.
And this is when CrossFit, people were learning about CrossFit. So this is searches for CrossFit.
And not just learning, but what was also out at that time when people were searching it? What journal publication came out that may have given CrossFit a bad rap?
Oh yeah, it was what? I don't know what.
NSCA. That was 2014.
Yeah. Was it 2014?
That was 14 when that got published. Yeah. And that was when I remember
the divorce study. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, NSCA published the divorce study, which was a fraudulent study showing injuries and injury rate in CrossFit. Nonetheless, this is just searches for CrossFit, right? So this is people searching for CrossFit, and you're bound to in something like this when it's catching on early, when it's in the the irrational exuberance stage. I want to say, and everybody's excited about it. That's when all the search people go to the internet to find out what it is, and all of these people learn about it. Now, all of these people that search doesn't mean they joined a fucking gym.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
They what they did is they Google searched it. Right? They're not.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's just a Google search.
Just Google search.
This isn't like how many affiliates are out there.
No, you can correlate some things to it, but those are correlations.
Correlation
not causation. Right. So who's to say when all of these people in these early stages actually joined the gym? This is when they learned about it.
Oh man.
Right. So this is interesting. So you think, okay, yeah. So everybody looked at CrossFit's dying. This is why CrossFit's dying. Okay. Really, because they've been growing rapidly in Europe, and we still have like the level and number of affiliates here is it's constant the last 2 years despite what's happened.
Yeah.
And then let me just go to see how I do this. I'm terrible at screen sharing.
You got to like close this screen down and open another one.
Okay, and then I go back. It would be good if I could just share another one automatically.
Just keep the windows open, and then you can just kind of close and open, close and open.
Oh, maybe if I do it as the whole window or the. Oh, okay, maybe I'll try that. All right, so let me show you Diablo, because we had our best year ever this last year. So let me show you Diablo search, because I wondered,
Oh, this is Diablo's Google search.
Yeah, this is Diablo search.
Oh my God, we're dying.
Yes, we're almost dead.
Best year, but this doesn't say that.
Yeah, but this doesn't say that.
Oh man, that's so funny.
I just want to point out, in 2016, we almost fucking closed. 2019 is when we opened a location, and so there's no correlation here. People just first of all, people aren't searching for Diablo CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right. And then let me see if I close this. What does that do? Oh, okay, so it just closes it there.
And then if you want to pop up on another window, you just screen share present
window. If I do it, I wonder if I do whole screen and do this. Yeah, let me do that.
Whole screen, because then you can go back in between the slides.
Yeah, let me
between the windows.
Yeah.
Oh man, you got a lot of windows open.
Yeah, I got a lot of them. But let me show you this one. So I wanted to look at some stuff. So let me look at well, here I'll just show weightlifting, because that's right there, right? So this is weightlifting, which is pretty fascinating, right? So it's pretty level, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what these blips are. The blips are maybe probably some sort of competition that's happening, maybe the Olympics or something.
I was going to say maybe Olympics, spinning on the spread.
And then I want to look at let's look at Soul Cycle, because that's interesting. So they grew really fast, right? And then they have fallen off. They got hit hard in the pandemic, because it's really hard in the pandemic.
Yeah, because they can't.
Well, because they
go outside.
Well, you're right next to each other in a very closed room, right? And it's and so their business is starting to come back. So this is interest in Soul Cycle, and I don't know whether this is correlated or not. I'd have to look up their numbers. You could do all that shit. This is one I thought was interesting. So I thought, well, people aren't searching for CrossFit. I wonder if they're looking for functional fitness. Sure enough, there's an increase in people looking for functional fitness.
Just a steady incline.
Now, this might be an indicator that the folks like all of the experts are starting to talk about the importance of weightlifting and functional movement, functional fitness.
Well, understanding what is actually functional movement patterns.
Right.
You know,
so based on this, like CrossFit's really in a great position. So you think you pull this chart up. If you didn't even pull up the CrossFit chart, you pull this chart up and go, fuck, I'm gonna
that's a good point.
I'm gonna open up a CrossFit affiliate.
Yep. I mean, functional movements is one of the three topics of what is CrossFit.
Yeah, this is like the anti Craig Ritchie video right here. There has never been a better time to open a CrossFit gym.
That's a really good point.
Look at these Google searches for functional fitness.
That's
we
wild.
are uniquely poised to take advantage of this growth and this searches for functional fitness.
Did you do one for strength training too?
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Okay.
I'll look. I got so many.
Because I'm curious, like, is there a correlation between the functional movement and strength training as far as like, you know, what people are actually searching for?
Yeah, maybe. I think I did do strength training too. Because I started geeking on it. And instantly you start to realize, like, first of all, these are relative numbers versus the previous year's searches. So you can't tell if they're the actual number of searches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and here's the other thing you have to consider too, is like, who's doing Google searches to find stuff anymore?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I do know that the largest number of our people that find us through Google Maps. Well, that data is not in here. This is a Google search.
So this doesn't include
Google Maps searches. Google Maps is different.
So that's just another data point that's missing on the CrossFit one too.
And let me tell you, by the way, had the number one search that they pull for they got them to Diablo CrossFit. The number one search that they on Google Maps that people used was gyms near me. Gyms near me. And everyone needs to pay attention to that. Affiliate owners need to pay attention to that because you need to make sure that your business site on Google Maps is good.
Yeah.
It's really good. That should be that. I think that takes a higher priority than your actual website.
Yeah.
Your Google page, your Google business page. And I bet there's a ton of business affiliate owners here don't even know they have a Google business page.
Good point. Yeah.
You need to go in and you need to put fresh pictures in there, pictures of your staff. You need to put your class hours in there. You need to put
updated mission statement,
how to contact you, everything in there on that page.
Yeah.
Because people do search gyms near me and then they see CrossFit like, ooh. And that's when they think this is when advertising pays off. CrossFit doesn't do brand advertising. They don't do much. They haven't done much in the past. They're starting to do more. But you don't, as a company, you don't do brand advertising so that people will go and go, where can I buy, Budweiser beer? You do brand advertising so that when someone
sees the brand,
yes, they buy it. Or when someone maybe, goes to the bar, or when someone goes to the, football game, or when someone searches, I need a refreshing drink, alcoholic drink. And then like, oh yeah, Budweiser. So when someone searches functional fitness, they do a functional fitness search. CrossFit's one of the names that pops up. And then when people think, oh yeah, CrossFit, I've heard of CrossFit.
This is the brand recognition.
And then they go from there. That's how all this works. It's very, very deep and intricate. It's not just as simple as I'm going to Google CrossFit and go to a CrossFit gym.
I didn't even consider or think of the fact that that's just based off of Google searches, not CrossFit affiliates.
That's right.
Powerlifting is pretty consistent. Similar to weightlifting.
Oh yeah, I got a great one here to show you. I'll save that one. I'll save this one. I got bodybuilding. Orange Theory. This is a good one to show. Let me show you Orange Theory. Orange Theory. So again, the Orange Theory launches right in like 2013. Then they start doing a whole bunch of advertising. Then people search. I want to maybe find an Orange Theory near me. And once they found it, they stopped searching. They stopped searching, and then they got it, and then they tell their friends, and their friends don't have to search because they know. They ask their friend where the fuck it is, or they go on to Google Maps. They stop searching. So once people know about CrossFit, once people know about Orange Theory, they don't. All they do is they go to Google Maps and they say, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." Or they ask,
where is
this? Yeah,
I know what it is, but where is it?
Yeah, 100%. And again, these aren't leading indicators for the growth of a business, because if they were, your chart wouldn't look like this. Let me show you this one.
What is it?
This is F45.
I know.
But this is great because F45 is bankrupt. Like they've closed more studios, they've closed more franchises, and the franchise owners are suing the company.
And there's still people searching it.
Right, but look at this, and it's like okay, this is on a meteoric rise. So you think this, if you were using, if you're like you're interested in opening a business, a fitness business, and you're thinking, you know what I'm going to use as my indicator for opening
Google searches.
I'm going to use Google searches because that'll tell me the right business to open. And I go, Jamie, look at this. This is F45. Bro, give me 50 grand. I'll take my 50 grand. Let's open an F45.
Let's go sign a lease
because F45's killing it right now.
Oh, man.
and you look at this chart.
And then when you actually Google it, it's
yeah. When you look at
maybe that's why the numbers are still elevated.
It is 100% why they're elevated.
So CrossFit numbers are not elevated because people are actually doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're successful. People don't need to search for it anymore. All their friends have been telling them about it. You don't need to Google it. All you have to do is say the word. You go out, stand outside in a crowd, and say CrossFit, and 10 people run up to you and tell you about it.
So Google Maps would actually be a better indicator as far as what's going on.
Google Maps would be better.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Like that, you said that if you're not paying attention to what your Google Maps is looking like, or what that page looks like, that's a really good point.
Yeah, your Google Maps page is super crucial.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a lesson in correlation versus statistics and correlation versus causation. It's interesting to see that chart. It's nothing more than interesting to see that chart on CrossFit, but it is not an indicator of the health of the company.
No, and it's very clear when you put it side by side with F45.
CrossFit, despite the challenges of 2020, incredible challenges of 2020, more than just the pandemic. Yeah, everyone knows all this shit that went down in 2020. And then recovery in 2021 and 22, again, a management change again, new CEO. They still had a very good year. Have had a very good year these last 12 months.
Yeah.
And CrossFit continues to thrive. And like I said, the affiliates that I talk to, some of the bigger affiliates in the country, they're having great years, and their coaches are having good years.
Yeah.
Are there affiliates that are closing? Yes, there's a lot of them are closing, but that's because a shit ton of them opened up 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And Jamie just told you the numbers for small businesses.
Yeah.
70% of small businesses close after
10 years.
70%. That's the scary part for CrossFit is a business, because they know they're going to lose some of those affiliates. And again, what happens is that process. And why does that happen? It's because there's burnout. People get tired. They're working 7 days a week. That's what that's what happens when you own a small business.
Well, you come in passionately, and this is like what Zia talked about last week. You come in as a passionate, CrossFitter, and you want to open up a business, and then you don't think about the business side of things.
That's right. And it takes
until it catches up, and
it takes a while till you get a groove. And Yvonne and I
that's a really good point.
Yeah, Yvonne and I have a groove now. We finally figured out what it is, what the key variables are. There's still things that I work on. Like we talked about this last week. I'm working on retention, and I'm working on more contact with our customers in the first 90 days, which makes it fun too. As a business owner, I'm always learning something. But anyway, that's the whole.
CrossFit is dying.
CrossFit is dying. That's our CrossFit. CrossFit is thriving. Believe me.
CrossFit is dying on Google search.
And there is a lot of hope and a lot of opportunity in the United States. And I think the very, very smart people that own and are running this company now know and understand this.
Yeah.
These are very, very bright people. Everyone thinks that, all they're in it for is, just to,
cash
out, flip no, they're not. Like if they look 10 years and they get a feeling for what it's going to do internationally, like if you've got $1,000 in the bank, and I told you in like 3 years, Jamie, I could double your money, but in 10 years, I could make your money 20x or 30x, 30 times. What would you do? Right?
Go the long haul.
You go the long haul.
You be patient.
Because if you're going to take your money out of that investment, you've got to put it somewhere. Unless you're going to spend it.
Yeah.
You're looking for, you're always, I think the conventional wisdom is that people think, well, yeah, that private equity wants to put their money in investment and they want to take it out when they get to a certain number. That's not when they take it out, they've got to put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, if that's somewhere else is right where they are and that has a 20-year growth pattern that looks just freaking unbelievable, with not only that, the opportunity through its economic system that it has, this huge morass of people that all have discretionary income to spend on things like shoes and equipment and everything else. You have the opportunity to maybe put other companies through this and grow other companies. Well, hell,
just continue to rise.
This looks like an amazing investment opportunity. Yeah. And I think that's what's lost on a lot of people and a lot of affiliate owners and a lot of CrossFitters. Yeah, they think this is the short-term flip, and I think it's fitness. Especially when you look at the size of chronic disease in this country.
And especially how CrossFit is essentially the cure to all of that.
Right.
It can be the cure to all of that.
What did McDonald's publish the other day? They want 10,000 more locations?
God. No, is it no, I thought it was more than that. I think it was like 100 something. I saw 100,000 locations. Are they investing $100 million? Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. Like $100 million into the next 10 years of their business. And they're going to go to all robots. And
I mean, and they've already started the what have they started? The Mick I forget what it's called. It's the coffee franchises. Mick Space or something like that. Google it real quick because now it's going to bug me.
You said Mick Space?
No, it's the just type McDonald's new franchise and it'll tell you what it is. They've already opened one and it's a coffee shop place. And then I'm going to look for the number that.
McDonald's welcomes Cosmics.
Yeah, Cosmics.
To its universe.
Yeah, to its universe. So there's these new franchises. McDonald's aims to open nearly 9,000 restaurants, add 100, this is the number, 100 million loyalty members.
That's right. It's like a subscription base.
Dude, I do like
trying to battle with Starbucks.
If let me tell you this, if your McDonald's loyalty card is ending up in your wallet on your iPhone, you have a problem.
You kind of wonder what the health is like in that situation. What is your health like if you've got McDonald's loyalty on your phone?
Members? I don't know. Cosmics is
I mean, at least in the States, because like the food here is not the same elsewhere.
So Cosmics is basically an attempt to get the Starbucks. And how they how they getting them? They know the recipes. Yeah. They got scientists coming up with these recipes of sugar and salt and everything else.
They've kind of mastered that.
Dude, there's going to be some amazing salted caramel macchiato thing that you're going to go in there and drive through and it'll have a little foam on the top.
Oh God!
And you'll be able to get like
something with
with a bag of donut fries.
A third of the cup is sugar.
Dude, it's their fries. It's their fries that are like donuts. But they're like,
it'll be like a fry with like a cinnamon sugar.
Yeah. Like a little bit of donut fry with oh my God, that'd be so good.
It would be good, but that would only set us even further back.
Yes, set us further back. They got scientists inventing this.
They're in the cahoots with the pharma.
Look, you got Krispy Kreme making these amazing donuts, and all I can you got to think that there's this conversation going on with all the McDonald's chemists going,
oh yeah,
Krispy Kreme, they got nothing on our fries. We know how to fry shit.
Yeah. Let's just throw some glaze and then throw some frosting over the top of it.
So right now, I'm going to tell you right now, McDonald's comes out with like donut fries. You heard it here first.
It's going to be.
They copied it from me. I want credit for it. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, because I was kind of trying to think about this. Like some affiliates have closed. And how are you doing on time, by the way?
I'm okay.
We're winding up here.
Chrissy's got Anderson from school, so
okay. Jamie just doxed his wife and kid.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that term meant. I had to look
I still don't even know what it means. I'll Google it later.
Yeah. Where did I put it? No, I put it in my notes. Oh yeah. So where did I put it? Where does CrossFit thrive? I know I did it somewhere. There's a number of things that we've done that have helped contribute to our success. I think I've got it in. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought I had this handy on my phone and I didn't have it handy on my phone, but let me look it up because I don't want to get it wrong.
You don't want to trash it.
Let me see. It should be in my recents folder.
This is for,
well,
why is Diablo thrive?
Yeah. I was kind of looking at like, and I'm thinking about affiliates and why some affiliates, struggle and why some don't and what the difference might be. Yeah, here it is. What has contributed to us being kind of open and thriving today, like in as big as we are and adding new members. We reached a high point of members this year. And I look back at like all the years, what are the kind of key things that we did that makes a difference? Number one, so going back all the way, we partnered. I set it up as a partnership early on, and I think that was crucial. And I partnered with an experienced CrossFitter, Jeremy Jones, and he was a coach. He'd coached, remember, MMA before, so he knew how to coach. And he was also willing to work full time. So he has he's a mechanical engineer, and he was willing to work full time for the business. And then what I provided, because I was in the investment industry, I provided the financial backing to kind of help get this started in the early days. Even though we had a karma jar, we didn't even charge for memberships. At first it was, we opened up just because we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And then we slowly
passion project.
Yeah, passion project. Now you opened by yourself, right?
I had partners.
Yeah, partners.
I had a partnership.
Oh, that's right.
I had 2 partners.
No, and this is a tale of caution, right?
Yeah.
Some partnerships go great, some don't.
Yeah, this is a good example. I mean, so one of the partners was one of my first clients when I was just doing personal training.
Right.
And he brought in another trainer who had a powerlifting background, and when it came down to it, they were both like. The other guy that was training, he was doing more personal training in the facility, and he was kind of help bringing in people. The other guy, he was a financial guy. He worked in, life insurance, and he was working on bringing people in, but he didn't quite fully understand what CrossFit was, and, trying to just funnel people in and just come to the gym, like not tell them, what it is or how to even start doing CrossFit. I would be like in the middle of doing like an intro with somebody, and it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so told me to come. Like, so communicating with your partners is a big part, right?
Right.
And when it came down to it, we were supposed to have one of the other ones get L1 certified so he can help me coach classes, because I was running from 6:30 to 7:30 at night, 5 days a week, Saturdays classes, and then we had yoga on Sundays. So I was there 7 days a week for an entire year.
Yeah.
And when it came down to a point where our lease was up and we had kind of outgrown a 3,500 square foot space, we were looking for a new location and came back to the finances, and it was like, okay, we need to get a big loan. I wasn't comfortable taking on that responsibility by myself, considering that the other 2 were not fully participating in what CrossFit was.
Yeah.
And so then we just kind of dissolved the partnership, and that's what brought me here.
Yeah, to Diablo.
So be cautious, just because you've got a good relationship doesn't mean it's going to work out.
Yeah. So
ideally,
I heard someone say this, and I wish I'd done this. Actually, Jeremy and I, probably Jeremy would agree with this, is that we had because you don't think of when you start a partnership, like we're in this together, friends. Yeah. And then I harken back to a story when I was in Austin, Texas, of these 2 guys that started a cellular store business together. 5 years later, one partner shot the other partner dead, and these guys were best friends in high school. And like, yeah, that's
a tale of caution.
Yeah, no, that is a tale of caution. It's like, it's just you think how things can go.
Yeah, it's
so and I think it was the I didn't mean to make it so sound so bad, but you have clear. Someone said this to me, or I don't know, like
understand the honeymoon phase goes away.
Well, but have it in writing ahead of time. Yeah. Have your partnership, what the terms are for separating.
Yeah. Okay.
And because an attorney can write those up because they've done, thousands of them, and they're really easy to do. And I wish we had done that, because it would have helped with the process when I did buy him out.
Yeah.
Which ended up being amicable at the end. It was just awkward for about 6 months.
It's tough.
Then here's the other. So one, I had a partner that helped.
Yeah.
And because then, like Jamie said too, he would, if his burn price to open if his partner had actually gotten L1 and helped coach and
probably,
really, So I got my certification, and I helped coach as well. I kept my full-time job and provided financial and managerial support. So I was able to handle kind of the financials of the business while Jeremy focused on coaches, coaching members, and he coached a lot.
Yeah.
We started small, very small, in a park, and expanded only when our customer base demanded. That's number 3.
That's a big one.
Start really small, and then wait till your customers complain. Wait till you're like, oh shit.
You don't want to have too many classes where you got 2 or 3 people showing
No.
up. You want to fill it up.
No, it's like I always say, it's like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
You drive by and there's a couple people in there, you don't want to go. You drive by and that place is packed. You're like, oh shit, we got to go there.
Let's go try it out.
Yeah. I don't know why it is with Chinese restaurants. It wasn't any.
I feel like that's just restaurants in general, though.
Kind of, but I don't know. It's like I've always used it as a barometer for Chinese restaurants because I love Chinese food. I wasn't trying to be racist.
It could be the same thing as a taco spot, you know? Like,
oh yeah, taco spots too. Same thing.
Same
That's funny
thing.
because we went by up in Tahoe, and maybe
yeah.
And
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but there's a great spot. And it was packed, and people I thought it was a dump, and it was packed. I'm like, okay, we got to go there. They must know. They know something. We started very small and then expanded only when the customer base demanded it. So keep it full. We kept our primary lease costs low. I think that's a huge one. People bite off because I've done the opposite. When we went into Alamo. We signed a too expensive lease thinking, this is going to be great.
Where when it kind of jumped up on you too.
Yeah. And then
read the fine print.
It did. Yeah. Read the fine print. By the way, have an expert read your lease for you.
Yeah.
And listen to what they tell you.
That's probably one of the biggest things that could set you up for success or failure.
Many affiliates closed because of it, primarily because of noise ordinances and those types of things, where they gave too much discretionary control to the landlord.
Got it.
To shut them down or to make increases in the leases. And as a member told me, education is what you get when you read the fine print. Experience is what you get when you don't. And I learned that with Alamo.
Yeah.
That cost us that was a very expensive. So we keep your lease costs low because that's your fixed cost. And you think, oh, you know what, we're going to get bigger, we're going to better, it's going to go. No, keep your lease costs low. Number 5 was establish relationships with other successful owners for mutual support. That was huge for us. Because I went out and I got to know CJ Martin, I got to know TJ or TJ's gym. Khalipa was in our circle.
Say you guys had like a whole group that you met with.
It was me
in the Bay Area.
Me, Jason Khalipa, TJ at TJ's gym, and he's still around running a great gym. And then
wasn't Kelly Starrett?
Kelly and Juliet Starrett. Juliet Starrett, especially. Kelly's awesome, but Juliet, she's an attorney. And she gave me several times just very, very good advice about our business. One of them was, switching from independent contractors to employees. Like she saved, like that could have shut us down.
Wow.
We kept our established relationships with other successful owners and meet with them like twice a year, 3 times a year. We met once a quarter. It was fun. And here's what else we did. I separated from my partner when the business relationship became tenuous. So when the business relationship was becoming difficult, instead of letting it carry over into the community, we parted ways. And we did so generously. So in other words, and it was hard. It was hard to, we made a very, very generous offer to keep the relationship good. I think they were satisfied. And then that allowed us to focus on the business ourselves. And it kind of got us excited, Yvonne and I excited about like, hey, shit, it's up to us now. Now we have to.
You are now fully in the driver's seat.
And we lost members that weren't happy. And that's normal. It's like someone said, it's like
a divorce.
Yeah, it's like a divorce.
Yeah. Who are you going to go with?
Yeah, it is. No matter what, it's going to be like that. And it's totally understandable. And what's great is now I'm friends with all those people. And there's a lot of people from our past days when Jeremy and I were together that are still good friends today.
Yeah.
And I see that and it makes me happy.
Great.
Yeah. I partnered with my wife. Like she came into the business big time after that. She always was. She always kind of handled the books. She managed to start. She took over the books right away with anything with me. I drive her crazy with how I manage. How I don't manage finances, and so she took that over. But we have a very supportive wife and we divided responsibilities for the business.
Yeah.
She runs all the money for this business.
Divide and conquer.
I have to ask permission for anything I get. It's frustrating.
But she gets what she wants.
Yeah.
She wants sandbags, we get sandbags.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
She wants a GHD machine.
Olympic lifting
machine.
Hey, Yvonne, you love Olympic lifting. You gotta, I'm gonna build a platform. Okay, we'll do it. Yeah.
Here's the finances for
by the way,
platforms.
anybody at Diablo right now, like all you have to do is sell Yvonne on something, and then it happens.
It's the trick.
Yeah. And then we began. I left my job only when the business could support my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so my job was my safety net, like, pay all my bills. And it was only when the business got to the point where it could sustain our lifestyle that I left and went full time at Diablo. And I think that's an important thing too, is like you go, that's why I admire people like Tim at CrossFit Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Like he went in, and like how you started, bro. You just went in like, this is going to be my only income. And if you grind through and get through that, that's a lot of stress for someone to bear.
It is.
I always like, if things,
especially when things don't work out as you anticipate.
Well, right. And they won't.
Exactly.
I can go back and I can list you 20 things where this place almost went to hell.
Yep.
As with any small business, and it's not just unique to Diablo, it's any small business. But I always had something to fall back on. With my regular career. And I would say that to any CrossFit affiliate owner. At the end of the day, you're not going to die. That sounds cruel when I say that, but I say it to my daughter, like, this isn't going, getting up and doing a project in front of your class is not going to kill you.
No.
Like the worst thing that can happen is like, you fail miserably.
You get some good experience.
To tell you a story, because my daughter, and thankfully she doesn't listen to anything I say anyway, so she's not listening to this podcast, but she gets very nervous. She's very nervous in front of cars. She just carries a lot of anxiety with her wherever she goes. She's very self-conscious. And then the first day of class, horticulture class, which she loves, but the first day of class, I remember dropping her off at class. She heads out. She's in college at DEC, her first year of college. And she goes in, and her first class is horticulture. 3-hour class, big long class. And she came out of class. I go, hey, so how was it? And she was nervous because it's new kids, new class. And she goes, well, there was a girl in there, and she was really nervous, and she passed out and threw up.
No.
And so now,
that set her up for some success, huh?
Yeah, it did. Because now every time, like when she goes in, or like she had a project to present, she had a project to present, and I go, well, just don't pass out and throw up. And I go, you're like one ahead of the worst person in class. And she gets mad at me every time I say it. But
that's pretty good. That's the perspective, right?
And
there.
I go, and she recovered. And she goes, yeah, she recovered. And I go, and she was fine. Yeah, and she's still in class. She's still in class. I go, well, like, see, like. So anyway, so I don't know where I got off of 7. And then 9, I reinvested. Oh, this is something that I think is a lot of affiliate owners do. And it's hard. This is hard to do. I reinvested back into the business every year. And there's times when I did, like, we look and I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend, money getting a cold plunge in a sauna.
Yeah.
I didn't, there's stuff like, do we really need to get Rogue Echo bikes? Do we really need to, paint the gym again?
Yeah.
Every couple of years, by the way,
we really need to update the platforms.
Yeah, do we really need to update the platforms? No, we could have kept using those same platforms. Yep. But when you reinvest a bit, it makes a statement to your customers. But then also, here's the thing that I like about it when I do it after I get done, because I pitch and moan about, oh man, all that wood all the time. I gotta do it on the weekend. I can't believe 17 years old in this business, I'm still doing this shit myself.
Yeah.
And then I walk in on Monday, and I see the work that I've done, and I get a tremendous sense of pride. I'm like, ooh, excited to be here.
Yeah.
This is cool. People are coming up to, this is awesome. Love this. This is great. And that's, I think those are the kinds of things that you need, is like little adrenaline rushes, little serotonin bursts.
Like little small wins.
Yeah. Little small. That's right. Well said. Little small wins. And then I hired, managed, and rewarded our coaches and staff. It's another thing. You gotta pay your coaches well, but don't break your business. Be transparent with them about, where your business is when you are paying your coaches. But manage them. And there's periods of time where we didn't manage our coaches. We just kind of let them go. And then, things would kind of go off the rails. And as soon as I started doing things like weekly coaches meetings, quarterly coaches meetings, weekly coaches meetings, it just tightened everything up.
Yeah, definitely. And that was like a night and day notice.
Oh yeah. Right. I can't.
I mean,
believe we
imagine
did.
if we had done
Seriously.
that. I mean, we did
I
have
know.
coaches meetings a while back, but it was.
And I take the blame for it. I don't blame anybody else but myself for that. Like I should have known. We should have known that.
I mean, that's just you're.
It's how you learn.
Yeah, the experience.
It takes experience. Exactly. It just tightens everything up, and it makes the coaches feel like they're part of the business too.
Yeah.
Which they are. They are your business.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the last one I'll throw, because everyone loves to bash people. This is a new bashing, like the MBAs, the MBAs, the MBAs, the MBAs of CrossFit. Here's what the MBAs are doing. This is what MBAs do. I just want to
minor detail here.
I officially want to put this out there right now. I have personally an MBA. And I'm proud of it. And it's been very helpful in making a lot of business decisions that have it. And it's helped other affiliate owners, like my friend Tim in Palo Alto calls me and stuff. And
anybody else that you've set up calls with and
set up calls with,
help
get financing, help do finance, help. Yes. Having an MBA can be a tremendous benefit to running a business. Who knew? Right? Going into running a business, these are not this is not a private coaching business. It's not just you're just not doing coaches, people Venmoing you. This is an operation,
not a karma jar move.
No, you've got a balance sheet, you've got assets, you've got liabilities. You're going to get credit card debt. You've got people that you have to deal with, administrators at high levels within the city, within the county. Having a degree will make you more competent at doing all of those things.
So enough of the bashing of the
MBA.
so
Enough of the. And this is what MBA.
What does that have anything to do with CrossFit? Well, running a business of CrossFit,
keeping this place open so people can do CrossFit.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Here's the other thing we do: we sell supplements in our lobby, and I do that, and we sell shirts, and we sell knee sleeves.
I wouldn't even say you sell it; you have it available.
Well said.
It's not like we're actively like, hey, take this supplement, take this. You need to take this. It's like,
no.
If you're looking for something, we have something that we have vetted in our pro shop.
If you go online, and
where our front desk people, not our coaches, are selling it,
and you listen to Lane Norton talk about the importance of vitamin D and creatine and protein in your diet, and what that does for building strength and muscle, which we know improves longevity, like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, then your members are going to ask you about them.
Yeah.
And especially if you take them yourselves. So then what you do is, and what we've done is, let's just make it available. Let's make the ones that we like. In our case, we love Thorn. And we love those guys from Affiliate Subs. They make a really great product. We have the ones we like, and I make it available for my members as convenience for them, so they don't go online and buy some shit that they shouldn't be buying.
Well, like I said, it's like you vetted it.
We do the due diligence.
That's.
And does it provide a little bit of extra income? Yeah, where that income goes back into the business and helps pay coaches and helps keep this place the lights on and thriving. So if you want to talk to me about that, call me about that. I'll tell you how to do it. I wouldn't make that a priority in your first couple of years.
Yeah.
But once you get going, you get over 100 members, have some of that stuff available.
You get enough people asking you for it.
Yeah. Just these broad-based accusations about MBAs and selling supplements,
and CrossFit dying based off of Google searches.
Open an affiliate and then talk to me. Open an affiliate for 10 years and then come talk to me about, I did it without, selling supplements. Yeah, let me see.
Even 3 years.
Yeah.
You can make it past that first third.
Yeah, that's right. You can make it past the first third. Anyway, so that's our rant for this week. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We went into this with almost nothing to talk about. And we talked almost,
perfect.
What does it say? Hour and a half. Yeah. Hour and 15 minutes. We'll have a guest on next week. I'm not sure who we're going to have, but we're going to pull someone from the Diablo community, and we'll figure out who that is. Someone that's interesting to talk to.
It'll be fun.
Right on. Thanks, Jamie.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Until next time.
Yep. Oh, you got it.